The digital landscape in Indonesia is now governed by updated statutes that define the ground rules for all network activity. On January 2, 2024, the ratification of U No. 1 Tahun 2024, the Second Amendment to the ITE Law, established a new architecture of liability. This legislative shift carries the authority of the executive branch, linking legal abstractions to direct state oversight. These changes extend beyond legal policy, dictating how system architecture is built and how platform liability is managed. System security now encompasses legal technical compliance, requiring specific protections to be built into the system by design, alongside standard vulnerability patching. For developers and security analysts, failing to account for these statutes represents a significant operational risk to their projects and their professional standing. On one side is an active offensive ecosystem, where grassroots communities like Meta4Sec and Revolution Cyber train individuals in vulnerability assessment and system probing. On the other side are the defensive targets, global platforms like Telegram that operate in Indonesia and run structured bug bounty programs. This creates a narrow boundary between authorized security research and criminal interference under Indonesian jurisdiction. To navigate this, we use a compliance and operations matrix, mapping technical actions to legal consequences. The y-axis divides those who build systems and those who test them. The x-axis represents the lifecycle phases: design, testing, and moderation. Determining where a technical action falls on this matrix is essential for operating within the current legal framework. We begin with the system provider during the design phase. The updated ITE law introduces a specific defensive mandate under Pasal 16A. Electronic system providers are now legally required to implement technical and operational steps to protect children. This mandate requires hard architectural changes, specifically the implementation of minimum age limits. This necessitates the integration of active verification mechanisms into core access flows. Under Pasal 16B, failure to implement these features results in administrative sanctions, escalating to the potential termination of access. User age gating is an enforced architectural requirement for any platform seeking to maintain operations within the Indonesian market. Looking at the security researcher in the testing phase, the constraints become even tighter. While security communities are vital for finding vulnerabilities, researchers face significant legal liabilities. Legal testing is defined by the strict rules of engagement found in programs like the Telegram bug bounty. Authorized scope is restricted to specific protocols, like MT Proto 2.0, and defined domains. Actions such as DDoS attacks, phishing, or attempting physical access explicitly void this authorization. These violations align with the definition of criminal interference under Pasal 36 of the ITE law. Unauthorized access that causes material loss for the provider triggers immediate criminal liability. Technical skill without adherence to a legally authorized scope can result in criminal classification the moment a probe is launched. A major risk exists when a vulnerability is discovered outside of a pre-authorized bounty program. Pasal 27B provides the statutes governing extortion and blackmail in digital spaces. Withholding a vulnerability to demand payment or force an action crosses from technical research into extortion. Under Pasal 45, this violation carries up to 6 years of imprisonment and a maximum fine of 1 billion rupiah. The intent to secure a system is not a legal defense if the method of disclosure meets the statutory definition of blackmail. In the final quadrant, we look at the system provider during the moderation phase. Pasal 40 mandates that the government take an active role in preventing the dissemination of prohibited electronic information. The state now has the authority to order providers to terminate access or moderate content directly. This authority covers content involving gambling, pornography, or specific threats to public health and safety. Enforcement is carried out by civil servant investigators, PDNS, under Pasal 43, who can order the temporary termination of access to social media profiles, bank accounts, and digital assets. Under Pasal 40A, failing to execute government directives results in administrative sanctions against the platform itself. The 2024 law requires system providers to act as enforcers of state moderation directives. Stepping back, we can see the operational structure of the Indonesian digital landscape as established by the 2024 amendment. Every technical action in the lifecycle is now tethered to a specific legal statute. For architects, building secure applications now requires the integration of verifiable age gating and moderation-ready systems. For researchers, testing must be strictly scoped and compliant to avoid triggering criminal definitions. Technical proficiency must now be matched by exact legal compliance to remain viable in this ecosystem. Cybersecurity remains a shared responsibility, but the state has clarified the legal parameters defining that responsibility. These statutes are now part of the physical reality of the Indonesian tech hub. Training communities and independent practitioners must integrate these legal requirements into their daily workflows. Operating successfully in Indonesia's cyberspace now requires designing, testing, and moderating within the lines drawn by the law.